Can everyone hear me? Okay. So hope everybody can hear me. And if you have any questions, you can raise your hand or you can send me a message. Okay. So I'll start my session. So before that, like if you have any other issues or anything, you can let me know. Okay. Fine. Thank you. Okay. So welcome to the SAP S/4HANA Simple Finance 1709 online live and interaction demo session. Okay. So here are the main highlights about me as a trainer. So my name is Prasad, and I've mainly worked on almost all the different versions of SAP, like SAP FICO and S4HANA implementations, upgradations, and rollout projects, as well as in the central finance implementation. And I do have a 8+ years of corporate training experience, and I'm also an SAP S4HANA professional certified consultant. So when it comes to my education, I'm an MBA finance graduate. Okay, so little more background about myself. So if I see, I have overall 12 years of experience in SAP FICO and almost 3+ years in S4HANA implementations and central finance implementation projects where I'm working. And having 8+ years of training experience in altogether in FICO and S4HANA. So I worked for various organizations, like various clients with the different domains like manufacturing, telecom, pharma, and some other related organizations. Okay, so initially when I started working on S4HANA, like I did my implementation in 1503. Later we have migrated to 1610, and the new project what I'm currently working is on 1709 version. Okay, and I do worked on the CO modules and integration with various other modules like SD, EWM, PP, and HR and PS modules, and also worked on the MDG, like master data governance system for the master data interfaces with the different ERP systems and S4 HANA systems. Okay, this is all about myself. Um, Fine. Okay, so before we actually talk about S4 HANA, so let me see the how does the market is currently looking for the consultants on the financial module. Okay, so previously if you have seen, like we if you have a basic understanding on FICO, so we used to get a jobs and we used to get so many opportunities in terms of domestic offshore, or it can be an on-site opportunities. So later on what it has happened, like we got a new GL accounting where with the document splitting concept. So later on, like again, it has been moved to S4 HANA 1503 versions. So now again SAP, which is coming up with the new innovations with the different versions in terms of like cloud versions as well as on the on-premise versions. So to meet with the market standards and to show or stability in the SAP FICO concept, so you have to familiarize with all the new concepts. So what are the new functionalities? So what is the new architectural changes which has brought into the system? So how the background operating system has been changed, which helps you to interact with the different systems on real-time replication levels. Okay, so this is how the current market is working on this for HANA. Okay, so now we are going to cover the 1709 version, which is the latest version when you compare with the other versions. Okay, so okay, so these are the major topics which we are going to cover it. Okay, so if you see here from the 1709 version point of view, so you can see the similar concepts from the 1610 as well, because from the conceptual point of view or reporting point of view, so we could see very limited changes in the 1610 version with the 1709 version. But there are some other integrations or Fury applications. Okay, and in your cash management and banking process, we have a lot of changes which has brought into 1709 version with a S4 HANA 2.0 with a new uh, operating system model which helps you to access the system in a faster way compared to the um, regular S4 HANA 1.0 version. So here we are going to mainly understand, so what is SAP HANA and what is S4 HANA. Okay, and financial point of view, the overview of financials within the SAP S4 HANA module, and the architectural or new architecture of your accounting, and overview of Fury applications. Okay, and the main functionality, like you can see, there are a lot of changes which has brought into the new GL accounting. Okay, from the configuration point of view, as well as your reporting point of view and your month-end activities. So everything has been changed from the GL point of view. So that again, we are going to mainly focus on these areas. Okay, and we'll also understand the integration between the GL account and the cost elements, right? Like previously, we used to have two different transaction codes to create this master data. Now everything has been integrated with the single transaction code like your FS00. Okay, and so we do have a cost automatic determination for your cost objects. So after integration, we have to see how does this is going to work. Okay, so similarly, we're going to understand what is the new ledger concept and how the new currency concept has been introduced in the system. Okay, and the major changes again in the account receivables as well as in accounts payable point of view. We have the business partner concept. So now we don't have any FK01 or XK01 or FD01, right? Or your credit management parameters, like where you maintain a credit values to your customers in FD32 or FD33 display. So everything brought into a single place, which is integrated with the business partner concept. Okay, and similarly, we do have BAM light concept, wherein some of the accounts payable configurations, like some of your accounts payable configuration related to bank account management, so has been brought out of your regular SAP GUI to an Fury application that is mainly to integrate your liquidity and cash management activities. Okay, and we'll also see how does this Fury applications and configurations we do it in the bank accounting model. Okay, and whether I use NWBC or I'll use a separate internet login ID where you can directly log into the Fury applications. And we'll also see the transportation mechanism from the Fury application point of view, because it is little different from your regular SAP configurations. So similarly, the major change, if you see, a new functionalities or a new process has been brought into your asset accounting module. So here the the approach of your transaction postings, okay, your valuations and your accounting principle wise reportings and your depreciation calculation process has been very much simplified. The second thing is some of your year-end activities and some of your periodical activities like your settlements or some of your depreciation area or transfers, so those and all has been removed because you can have the real-time depreciation or real-time depreciation posting concept for each and every depreciation area if you want. See, yeah, this is an important and mandatory thing what you have to know before you start with the SAP S/4HANA finance module, right? So here what you majorly talking about is, so what is the existing FICO functionality and what are the new advantages has been brought into SAP S/4HANA, right? So when you talk about the differences, so I'll always compare how does the existing system works and how does the new system works, right? So here if you have a basic understanding on FICO, so that will actually help you. So otherwise what happens, we have to spend more time on understanding the existing functionality of SAP. So to overcome those things, I recommend that you should have a basic understanding of FICO is a mandatory concept. Okay, okay. So maybe in that case, again, let me tell you frankly, because so when you actually talk about the new functionality of GL or a new functionality of asset accounting, so you may face some kind of a difficulty. Okay, uh, sometime like to understand the new concepts. See here, when it comes to S4 HANA, there are like when you talk about SAP, there are so many modules. Like we have functional modules, we have technical modules who will be working on a different activities. The similarly, when you go for SAP S4 HANA concepts also, here also we have some kind of functional activities as well as the technical HANA functional activities. Here we are majorly concentrating on the SAP S4 HANA finance module, which contains of your FICO related configurations. So when I'm talking about this, okay, so when you talk about a specific uh, technical point of view, when you want to learn, Ramakrishna, for your question where I'm addressing the answer. Okay, so here we are not going to learn the end-to-end technical point of view from the HANA concepts. So here we are going to understand how does the HANA layers are supporting for my finance module, right? So that is how we generally recommend that you should have FICO knowledge. That is the basic thing. The second thing is, so here we are mainly focusing on the functional point of view, not from the HANA technical point of view. So hope I have answered your question, Ramakrishna. Okay, fine. Okay, so when it comes to the topics what we are talking about, so we'll also learn about the month-end and year-end processes. Okay, so you'll also understand the important concept, the major impact on the controlling module, which is profitability analysis. Previously, we used to have accounting based and costing based. because of different reasons. So where I wanted to capture at a detailed level of variances or a cost. Normally previously was what we used to use the costing based COPA. Now what SAP S/4HANA is bringing, which is now tightly integrated your GL account with your a universal table of your profitability transactions also. That means what, even your COPA related transactions bring into the single table, where the single table contains your FI postings, your CO postings, as well as your material ledger postings, right? As well as your COPA posting. Everything bring into the same level and tight integration with your GL account. So because of that, what is happening, and SAP also recommend that what are the feasibilities you are expecting from the costing based, that you can do it from your accounting based now, right? So now you have to understand, so what are the new features, what are the new configuration levels, so what are the new reporting things, what are the new way of capturing your cost from the accounting based, that we are going to learn from here. And there are some kind of, as we are bringing all my FI and CO transactions into the single place, there are some periodical activities which will be reduced. There are some reconciliation process will be reduced, right? So that's why here we'll understand. So what is the new S4 HANA controlling and profitability analysis process? Okay. In the same way, so we do have another functionality called central finance deployments. So this is another functionality or another advantage which has come from the S4 HANA version onwards, which helps you to integrate any of your older version of SAP system or non-SAP systems with S4 HANA. After integrating your accounting transaction from the source system to the target system, you can have the feasibility of having all the S4 HANA reportings, right? So I'm going to explain. So how does this architecture works? How does this landscape works, right? And I'm going to talk about what is the central finance deployment options as well. And in the central finance, we do have a concept called SAP landscape transformation process. So that we are going to talk about. And how do you map your source system values with the target system values, that we are going to learn from the mapping point of view. And finally, we are also going to learn about what is the new implementation methodology, that is what is the activate methodology. So this is the very high level where I've mentioned about the topics, but I do have a detailed, so I do have a detailed level of topics within the S4 HANA 1709 version. So step by step configuration, what exactly we are going to talk about. So it's like a detailed level. From the migration point of view, we are going to cover. So I think I don't know how to delete this lines. Okay. Okay. So here the detailed course content. So this is what we are going to cover. Okay. From the migration point of view, we are going to cover all the concepts. How do you migrate? And from the currency point of view, so what are the new ledgers we have, and what are the currency setup? From the GL point of view, again, so I've mentioned a detailed level of topics what we are going to cover. Similarly with the APAR, the CVA is nothing but customer vendor integration with the business partner and banking process. and asset accounting overview, and what is the new architecture, what is the configurations, right? So simulation of different business processes. So this and all we are going to cover. Again, from the CO point of view, so we are going to cover the configuration levels, okay, the material ledger activations and cost of goods sold splits. What are the new SAP nodes which will support for this split activations? Okay, and further to this, and we'll also see the other finance integrations like your cash operations or liquidity and Fury applications and banking. Okay, and we'll also see the migration concepts. So the migration concept, like, so from the 1709 and 1610 version always we have the migration cockpit concept, so which will replace all your LSMW upload process with a standard solution which SAP has given. So you don't have to really do a new BDCs for your migration of your master datas and your transaction datas. You can use this add-on which is given from the HANA system to upload your transactions or your master data. So I'll also show you. So how does this migration cockpit works? So how do you download the templates? So what are the steps to follow to upload the data? Sure. Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, sure, Abhishek. Okay, so ledgers, general ledger accounting like cost elements, primary and secondary cost elements, because now secondary cost elements also your GL accounts, and you do have the statistical cost elements like your material accounts and your asset related reconciliation accounts. So we'll see how do you create that, and default account assignments and new period log transaction concepts, and we'll also see the universal table comparison with the existing basic table with the ACDOCA, CO integration configurations. Okay, now in the business partner, we have a new configuration to be created, and those has to be integrated with your customer and vendor groups for the number ranges determination. Okay, and what are the differences with the BZP configurations now? From the asset accounting point of view, again, the overview and accounting different accounting principles with a different fiscal year where you can also have it now with the ledger concepts, technical clearing account for different types of valuation postings, right? On the split postings, and how do you run the depreciation? So with errors, if you don't do 1 or 2 months depreciation, how the system behaves when you directly run for the third month depreciations, right? And all the regular transaction postings and impact on the table level. Okay, from the CO point of view, again, some basic checkups. How do you ensure so all this configuration has been activated and which you can use it for your transactional level? Okay, so we have also uploaded the same content in the web. You can also download and see what are concepts we are going to cover it. Okay, fine. Okay, Abhishek. Okay, so now we'll talk something about from the system point of view, right? So we'll understand so what exactly the S4 HANA finance module contains, right? And then we'll see what are the different types of versions we have it, and what is the difference between 1610 version with the 1709 versions, or what are the different versions SAP quarterly and yearly, how they are releasing it. Okay, so let me start with the main description or describe about the S4 HANA finance. Okay, so if you see traditionally in the SAP financial application, there are different components we have, right? Like, so we do have, so if you see here, so we do have financial accounting, and we do have CO and different components, right? So these all components like your asset accounting, so everything, right? So this is like your traditional SAP financial application was previously defined, right? So each component has its own data model, right? So it has own data model or architecture. When I say data model, that means what? It has a different tables. Financial accountings will have a different tables like your BSEC, BKPF, okay, GLT0 tables like your balance tables or your BSIS table, BSAK table, right? So depends on your transaction posting. System used to trigger a separate table, and the data will be stored in a specific place, which actually help us when I'm writing any programs. So I'll always think, okay, now I need to go to a specific table to extract the data, right? Otherwise, if I go to BSEC table where I'll find all the data, but you cannot uh, use those table because it will take so much of time to filter the data because it has to go with all the line items which are posted in the system, right, before it execute the report. So to overcome all this, right, so we have so many issues, so many performance issues, so many other BW systems or any other systems which will use it for my internal or external reporting because of this complex data model which we had it with the traditional SAP, right? Now what has happened with the deployment of SAP S4 HANA, it gives an opportunity, right? So it will give an opportunity to increase or it will reduce the data model concept first of all, and it removes your inefficiencies. So that's why here we are mainly talking about, right? So here we are mainly talking about a single table. A single table contains all your transactions, right? Now you have FI transactions. Within FI, I do have my open items, I do have my clear items, I do have my sample items, I do have my special GL transactions, I do have my balance carry forward transactions also. Now, how does system knows that which line item belongs to which type of document, right? That is very important. When you're merging multiple tables, so there should be a field which will segregate that, right? Which will segregate and says that. So that's why if you see in the new universal AC DOCA table, ACDOCA table, right? So it contains a separate, a new field saying the document status. When you go to document status, there you can filter it, right? I can filter with cleared items. I can filter with open items. I can filter with FI items. I can filter with any type of transactions, right? So that is how now this inefficiencies, and single place with a easy data model or a data architecture what has been brought into the S4 HANA landscape, right? See, if you remember well, very older when you talk about the S4 HANA. So previously, when in 2012, so we used to talk only about add-ons, right? Simple finance add-on. So you just have to have an add-on to existing new GL accounting system where you have ECC 6.0. So where you'll have this add-ons to the existing. That means what this SAP S4 HANA initially started only with the finance simplification, right? So later what they have done, right? So when you this journey has come into the multiple like from 2012, right? So which has a it's not a end-to-end solution which has limitations with the add-on which has been introduced in 2012. So later in 2013, again there are some kind of migrate traditional non-SAP. That means what you can also migrate your transaction data, your database to your S4 HANA, okay, which will run in the in-memory concept. Okay, so after that, what happened from the 2014? So that's what you can say that from 2014, SAP began as a simplification journey by providing add-ons for your suite. So initially what happens in the 2014 again, it's like a suite on S4 HANA. It is not SAP S4 HANA. It is only a SAP HANA, wherein it comes as a suite with a predefined set of solutions. But when it comes to the 2015, a complete simplification journey with full redesigned the data model with finance and other major like so initially if you see we're only talking about finance only later like from 2015 onwards then we have seen like simple logistics, we have seen um, the BPC like IBP, right? So there are so many other integrations which has been introduced with your HANA platform. Okay, that is how you can see. If you see here the evaluation, uh, there are so many things like there are so many add-ons. Okay, so there are so many feasibilities, different versions where you talk about, right? So that is how this SAP S4 HANA has come into the picture with the simplified simplification journey with the full-fledged finance concepts. Okay, so if you see a little more from the 2016, right? So if you see here, here we mainly focusing on quarterly release, like that's what your FSPs like where you'll have different packages or package stacks which are introducing or support packs with a new identifications or over whatever the issues which we have found in the previous system, right? So those actually will be removed, and there'll be like if you take an example like so why do I have this support packs which has been introduced on a quarterly basis. Let's an example if I'm using my 1503 as a version. So when you have a 1503 version, when you're trying to meet some of the criterias like in your asset accounting or from your profitability analysis point of view or from your banking point of view or from your Fury application access point of view, right? You do have a limitations. So SAP has restricted only in GL you can only access 10 Fury applications. We don't have remaining applications, right? And when you see in the old version, we do have extension ledger, like we do have different types of ledgers, a limited scope for the currencies. But when you upgrade with your support packs with the latest versions, what happens? Whatever the errors, whatever the mistakes which SAP initially has done, right? So those and all will be included with the support packs. So when you migrate with the new version, automatically the regular issues will get overwritten with the new packs. Okay, so that's how you will see different. Okay, that's why we'll see the different quarters having a different set of versions getting introduced, right? And if you go with the quarter of 2017 September, like see, it always represents like this first two digits is your year, the next one is your month, right? That's how you easily identify this particular version has been released in certain a quarter or in a particular month. Okay, now if you see the latest version, it is 1709, right? And we do have the next version, that is 1803. Okay, so but it is not talk much in the market, so we don't have much information about the 1809 or 1803 as well as the 1809 which they are planning in the 2018 September. Okay, if you see here, so it is from the 2017 quarter 4. See, that's again like see from the 1709 there are multiple support packs at different releases which will be introducing. So they're also planning by end of this September to have the S4 HANA 1809 as a new version. Okay, so now you may get some kind of doubt saying that like I've seen different versions. So if I learn 1709 or if I learn, you cannot see my screen. Okay, is it any chance you can see now, Abhishek? No. Okay, let me talk to next IT team. So people could not see. So you are able to see. Okay. Okay. Can we? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now we are talking about. So what is my situation if I only learn 1503 or 1610 or 1709? Future it's coming with the 1803 or 1809. See, when it comes to the functionalities, so when it comes to the basic functionalities of finance and controlling module, if you see any of the version, there is no the huge difference in the okay. So you don't see the huge process change or functionalities change in the version to version, right? So always what SAP will think about is they'll keep the process whatever they have initially come up with from the 1603 or 1503, they'll upgrade it, right? The transaction code will be the same, the screen may be the same, but the fields within the screen could have changed it, or from the Fury application point of view, or integration with the third party systems like your IBP or BPC or your other NetWeaver applications, like right, if you have any third party like MDG systems or SRM, CRM, procurement, right? So those and all the level what they'll do, they'll also come up with the changes with the multiple other modules as well as multiple business sectors or business lines. Maybe sometime now it is only supporting for my manufacturing, maybe. Okay, so maybe in the future it may work for a different sector like your insurance, maybe your banking, other related processes, right? Okay, so that is how these versions will getting changed, but the functionality as FICO will never change. That is one thing we have to keep it always in the mind. Maybe other parameters, like if we take an example uh, from the central finance point of view, previously we had restriction to transfer a few data. Now we have an option to transfer my COPA or my commitment items, right? And previously I don't have a Fury application to access my asset related reports. Now they have been introduced. Okay, so hope you are clear with these versions and support packs and how does this actually working. So we'll go little uh, detailed on the next slides about the what is 1709 version. So here I'll mainly talk about what are the different business lines, the key innovations has been introduced. So in the further slides, we'll also go depth into the each module wise. Okay. So if you see here, previously we had some of the limitations or classic embedded transport management mechanism where it is not tightly integrated with your warehouse management, right? So because of that, what happens when you have any manufacturing organizations where they wanted to have transport mechanism integrated with your warehouse management, right? So this and all what happens when you have a procurement process, the goods delivery will happen or goods issue will happen from your warehouse management, and which is internally integrated with your transport management, so that finally the shipping will take into the picture. So now with the new innovation what happened, there'll be a tight integration with your EWM also, right? And the data harmonization. So this is very very important. When I say data harmonization, it is not in FI we have seen the universal table which combines all my index tables and my total tables. Similarly, when you go to any other module, because everything is coming to the single platform of HANA, everywhere the data has been harmonized. The table architecture has been harmonized with a new tables. But some of the tables still exist. How does it work? We'll see it in the later classes. Similarly, like consumer product related industries, okay, and commodity management. So where you'll have the pricing with the commodity pricing engines, the extending concepts. Similar to for your CRM, that is what your service core, which is an add-on to your CRM module, right? And you do have the manufacturing. So advanced variant configuration. Previously, we used to have some kind of limitations at the variant configurations. Okay, so to determine your cost and everything. So now which has been simplified. Okay, and another important, see here we'll talk about the finance like machine learning with SAP cash application and integration and financial planning. So when I say machine learning, okay, this is an kind of new mechanism which helps you to have the cash application integration or your bank account integration, which has been simplified with your bank transactions as well as your EBS processes. So previously we used to use standard configurations and standard functionalities of algorithms to identify your open items and clear your line items. Now with the machine learning concept, what is happening? There are some kind of strategies which SAP has come up with. Okay, so if I'm not finding a certain level of algorithm to clear my open item, system will also check for my history of my customers. Right? How does my previous transaction has been cleared, right? From the banking point of view. So those and all multiple algorithms, multiple interpretations will happen with the machine learning concept, which will simplify your cash management or bank application integrations. Similarly for your procurement. So even in the procurement, we do have a different tables, and previously we do have different transaction codes for your stock transfers. Okay, why 1MEB or whatever the different transaction codes. Now what is happening? Everything has been brought into a single transaction code where you can do all your transfers within the Migo transaction, right? So that's how the centralized purchase requisition through your hub deployments. Similarly, your machine learning concept for your contract consumptions. That means like system will check what is the previous contract, what are the concepts and everything. Then it will start behaving for the new future contract creation whenever you do it. Okay. So similarly for sales and quality management, right? Extended warehouse management and PLM and the maximum Fury applications which has been brought into. That means like new more and more transaction codes has brought into the user experience. Okay, so these are the main things when it comes to the high level key innovations. Okay, so if I go further, right? So when I talk about the architectural or Fury, now one more thing what you have to understand from the 1709 version is previously we had the HANA version is 1.0 now, which has been upgraded with the HANA 2.0 version, which has the more feasibility or capabilities compared with the older HANA platform. Okay, now because of that, what happens like the user experience also will get increased, and again usage of your Fury 2.0 2.0 capabilities, right? Uh, Let me erase this, right? If you see the Fury 2.0 capabilities, you can have it. See, when I say these capabilities, Fury applications are mainly focused to adapt into any device, right? So it is not only for your laptop or it is not only for your desktops. So which has the feasibility to adopt into your tabs, your mobiles, right? So let's an example. I have a CEO of CFO of the company where he'll be more focusing on what is my day sales outstanding, or I wanted to know what is my payable for a particular company code of a particular uh, period, right? So in that case, he'll be roaming in a different place, he'll be contacting with the different persons. He cannot always go and check, or he cannot run the comparison reports, right? So if I want to compare it, then if you have a planning, if you have a budget, then only I can go and see my actual and planning or comparison things. Now with the Fury application, what is getting to the top management is you have an application installed at your mobile, which will be highlighted with the graphical view in the front screen, or it will be highlighted with the color coding, so that whenever you see a different color coding for your outstanding or receivables, right, you just click on your tab, open it, go to the lowest level of drill down reports, right? Then you can take the proper actions instead of always getting into your actual laptop system or your SAP server system. So that is how Fury application. If you see here, so this all like graphical, like UI interfaces. This and all like a user interfaces or a user experience based applications which has been built up. Okay, like you can have graphical way, or you can have transactional report, or you can have color coding reports, right? So everything you can see it in the Fury applications. So that is the additional advantage with the embedded analyticals also you can meet with the Fury solutions. So this is the main advantage you can see now. So when I say advantage, I'm not saying Fury is not available in 16, 10 or 15.03. It's there everywhere, but it has giving more and more advantages in terms of filtering the data, accessing the data, the way it looks for your users. And Fury replication is always a real-time replication. So if you see some of the analyticals, if you see here, so it will give you comparison with the percentages. So however you want it, these apps you just have to activate based on the roles and responsibilities performing in an organization. Few applications is always based on the role. Okay, so this is what like I was talking about machine learning and the more advantages for your cache applications. See what is this machine learning is happening. If you see, let's an example. Previously, when you define your electronic bank statement configurations, what does system do? Whatever the configurations you have defined in the SAP system, according to that interpretation algorithm or according to your posting rule, system will go and perform your activities and it will post the transaction or it will clear the transactions, right? Now what is happening? See if you see here, system is comparing based on your the history. How did you make the payments in the past? How did you clear based on whether I'm clearing based on my invoice number, whether I'm clearing based on my amount, whether I'm clearing based on my customer number, or whether I'm clearing based on some other parameters, right? So this machine learning will do that analysis and finally it matches and it will give you a proposal saying that. So according to this, according to the, see when you talk about your logbox scenarios, customer will drop a check or he'll give a some kind of payments, he'll drop it in a logbox and finally it will be processed by the banks. Sometimes you may not find the relevant information within SAP to match your open item, right? So that time when you do manually, somehow you can compare with the multiple parameters which you cannot define it in the regular standard programming, right? So now what happens, system will now think, okay, previously what and all you have matched based on what you have searched your open items to match your payment. So those things which has been simplified, but only thing is you should have this certain functionalities implemented on the relevant SAP nodes to be implemented, the relevant activation should be there in the system, right? Fine. So because of this, what is happening? So it improves the day sales outstanding because it'll clear is there any outstanding invoices. If you still you want to receive anything, it'll make a list saying that these are the items not cleared. Okay, the turnaround relevant for the clearing your transactions, right? So those and all the advantages what you can see it from the machine learning process for the cache applications. Okay, so this is the another important innovation. So if you see here, so here we are talking about HANA 2 2.0 version. So because of this HANA 2.0 innovation or platform, what happens? The data management transformation has become little simplified compared to the HANA 1.0 and faster. That means that the data calculation, processing, extraction, which has become faster than existing this one, existing functionality. And drive innovation. That means like when you have analytical or intellectual or transformation related processes or reports what you are doing, so which has come up with a new way of querying your data, right? So SQL queries which will help you to derive or parallel processing of your transaction data, okay, and it will give you the easiest or the very faster way of analytical reports. And similarly, it is power innovation, which will enable your application or deployment transformations. That means what if you have a third party integrations, again, system will how does this process and it will read the data and it finally uh, display your transactions. So that is how this HANA 2.0 version will help you to do your innovations from a multiple solution point of view. So you have any questions anywhere? So you want me to explain more? You can always ping me in the chat. Or if I'm going little fast or you need little more details about certain topic, so you can stop me and you can ask. Fine. Now we'll come to some interesting things about the financial accounting. So here again, that's what like I was initially saying, the innovations or a new version, it is not only talks about finance, it will talks about all the solutions which has come under S4HANA platform. Now within that we have one of the component is your finance. So within the component, it is not mandatory that every time I'll come up with a new solution. It depends on the requirement. It depends on like somebody has implemented something and they would have come up with so many issues in the real-time process. What SAP will do, SAP will consume all these requirements and he'll make it as a SAP note or a new support pack with the new solutions. Okay, so now when it comes to the finance model, we'll see about the central finance. So here we do have the central payment concept, right, which is tightly integrated with your payables and receivables and your shared service kind of solutions. And financial reporting has been increased more and more. And as I said, like Fury applications, like now the Fury application enhancements, this enhancement has come into your payable, receivable, right, as well as your production cost or treasury related, asset accounting related, GL related, or inventory accounting related Fury applications which has come. Okay, now when I say Fury application, whether it is given for each and every client who have purchased S4HANA, no. Again, there is some kind of limitations. Suppose if I'm going for this certain version, SAP says that okay, I can only give the Fury applications up to 30 free, right? I cannot give you all the application as a free components. It depends on what you are purchasing. It is restricted. Okay. Okay. So that is how depends on the Fury application. What you have to do, you need to get the license because it's like on-premise concept. Okay, you will get the license, then you have to activate to a certain users. Okay, that is how Fury application enhancements also has come into the picture in 1709. Okay, now parallel valuation. Okay, previously we had restriction for two currency valuations. Now you have third currency in the controlling and cost of goods sold manufacturing, where you can have the valuations can be activated. Okay, the real-time consolidation, which will actually reduces your intercompany transactions or intercompany reconciliations or consolidations in the month ends. From the business reporting point of view, again, cash flow statements, parallel valuations, and multiple valuations and currencies. Okay, so similarly for your universal journal, subsequent implementation of document splitting. So previously we had some kind of restrictions. So when I'm migrating some of the source system data, so you cannot have a full-fledged document splitting activated at your universal ledger. Now it has been increased, wherein you can do the quarterly upgrade migration. If you are doing, still you can also activate the document splitting concept from the source to the target. And again here, if you see from the FSCM point of view, treasury and risk management point of view, we have new solutions. From the cash management point of view, where the bank relationship, if you see the bank relationship management, your bank fee analysis, so the bank communication system with the in-house cash management and everything has been innovated, or we can say it is like the key innovations with the 1709 versions. Similarly with your financial planning. Okay, so now you can also do your GL document split or financial closing cockpits, right? This is like a separate subscription they're talking about. So financial cockpit is what, like closing cockpit is what, so you can define your month end and year end activities in a certain place, and you can ensure you don't miss out any of your month end activities. Otherwise what happens when you actually do the reconciliation, we'll say like we have done the activity, but whether we are not sure about the depreciation is completed, depreciation is executed correctly or not, my assessment cycles is completed or not, right? My foreign currency revaluation is completely executed or not. So I assume that like somebody has completed, but when you have this closing cockpit, what happens? You define or you list out all your steps, what you are going to perform in the regular month end or year end activities. And when you go to this migration cockpit, you can see whether it is completed or it is not completed. If it is completed, when it is completed, who has completed this activity. So such kind of solutions, such kind of feasibilities, we can have it at the closing cockpit level. And again, when it comes to the integration, that's what I was talking about, the non SAP solutions or other systems where you wanted to integrate, right? So like your Ariba, right? Ariba for your invoice and discount management. For your SAP success factors, so you have, if you have any HR related processes, right? And if you have any credit card payment related processes, right? Those also you can use it in the Ariba payment processes. So now why I'm saying different business or different application solutions, because now these and all can be easily integrated with your SAP S4 HANA uh, landscape, right? So that is the main functionality. Okay, similarly, if you see from the logical logistic execution point of view, right, there are so many additions, right? This and all not directly relevant for finance, but still we can just see. Okay, so what are the areas where you can see the advantages from the logistics point of view? See extended production operations, right? For your complex manufacturing processes or assembling industries, if you have, so which will have the integration now, where you can have the monitoring and solve production order issues, right? So similarly for your availability checks and logistics executions and demand derived manufacturings, right? Depends on the different types of businesses if you have. So similarly, the integration with your extended warehouse management, your simple logistics, and other planning activities, right? So this and all the integrations which you can see from the logistic point of view. Similarly, from the sales point of view again, right? From the billing and invoicing point of view, the information about the invoices are more clear, and the billing documents related enhancements, electronic and digital payment related integrations, like with your payment hubs, if you have any third party tools or any other simple or any finance related solutions if you want to build for your sales. And because when it comes to the sales, I mainly focus on, like, I follow up on my outstanding, because I don't want to lose my incoming payments, or I don't want to impact on my cash flow transactions. Okay, so similarly, these are the different business industries, right? So it can be a public sector, oil and gas, retail, utilities, discrete industries, consumer products. So this and all the areas where S4 HANA will support now. Okay, this is what your migration cockpit process from the legacy. How do you transfer your data? And now with the 1709 version, we do have a Fury applications where you can process your data through the migration cockpit. Okay, so this is the overview or conceptual idea about so what is 1709 version, and we have seen what is the course content we are going to do it, right? So when you actually start with the classes, so what we do is we'll always compare, because we'll compare with the what is the existing business process, then we'll compare with what is the future solution, right? So we do the configurations end to end, and we'll try to see the table level differences. We'll also see how the Fury applications are supporting for your GUI transactions, right? And from the AP, banking, asset accounting, CO, each and every business scenario we'll discuss in detail, right? And I'll share the document on each topic. Then we'll do the end-to-end configurations, so that you'll get a better idea on how does this new functionality works. Okay, so these are the contact details where you can reach out, right? So if you have any questions, or if you wanted to know something like anything specific, you can ask me. Okay, Abhishek or Anjali or Durga Sai, Rajashekar, Venkata Jagadish. So if you have any kind of questions, you can raise now. Okay, I think everybody is unmuted. Like if you have any questions, you can ask me. Okay, good. Then I'll take it as you don't have any questions. Okay. Uh, okay, so tomorrow we'll have little more detail. So now we have seen only from the S4 HANA point of view. So tomorrow we'll see little more about what is S4 HANA architecture. We'll see what is major changes what we are going to learn, right? So in a detailed level, we can see from tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining the call. Bye for the day.